Today we'll see how to delete and update records from the database. Previously we have completed how to create and also how to fetch the data from the database. So we'll check how to delete. So what is a delete? If you want to delete or remove particular fields from the database, or if you want to delete your data from the database, we'll be using this delete functionality. See, to delete, you must see you have your database records, right? This was your database records. You were having your field names, your data IDs and all. If you want to delete particular field or ID, particular data from the database, you must need an ID. To delete any record, you need an ID. What is this ID? This is a unique key or unique identity, like a roll number for students. If you want to find a particular student's details, you'll be using his roll number, right? Similar to that, in the database we use IDs. Using this ID, we can get the location of the data. See, if this is 1, 2, 3 and this is 4, but in database it will be some unique random keys over there, like random alphabets or numbers over there. Those are unique for each record. Suppose this is roll number 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to delete data of roll number 3, I should just give ID equals to 3. If I give ID equals to 3, the delete functionality will fetch for that ID in the database. If it finds the ID, it will remove that record from this database. So see, this is your delete functionality. See here, for this function we are providing some ID. I will tell you how we will send this ID here. See, you are providing some ID, then a variable, like previously if you know that query, we used query to fetch, right? Similar to that, we will be using here doc, which means we'll find that we'll find that field in the database, which means we are finding the document inside that collections. Just have to write doc, then inside of this parenthesis provide the configurations like database ka, then what is your collection ka name, this is done, then ID. So you have provided your database configurations, then your collection ka name. You are telling this is my collection, from this collection search for this ID. If you find this ID, then delete doc. This is a method to delete the records or data from the database. Then you are providing the previous details you have stored in doc, to do doc, right? You are providing this delete doc, this details. Then you are again fetching. Why we are fetching this again? See, previously we wrote this fetch to do functionality, right? After creating any to do, we are trying to get those details, right? Here also after deleting, we are trying to get the details from the database. Like I now deleted one record, I'll fetch again so that I can get a fresh copy of the database details. Just write a variable so that you can store those details. I'll write here del or something, it's your wish, you can write any name over here. Then doc, you need to import this. Then for this method I need to provide my database configuration. This is done. Then I should provide which collection to do. This is my collection. Then send the ID of that. This is inside this collection, search for this ID. After that, delete doc. Inside this method you have to provide del, this previous details, right? For we have stored in this variable del. After doing this, you can fetch for the details. Here I am searching for the details in the database using that ID. Then I am sending the details to this delete doc functionality. So it will delete that data and again it will fetch the database like you have created and you are fetching. Now how to delete? See, if you want to delete, you need to have one button so that if a user clicks on that, you can delete the data. So inside this I'll write one function on press. On press I will create an arrow function, then a function name. I will write a function name like delete to do. Done. Along with this function, I will send item dot id. So what is this item? Previously you were accessing details, right? Like item dot to do, item dot completed. So similar to that, if I want to get this particular container or particular to do ka id, I need to write item dot id. Here I wrote a function in which I am sending id of this. Then here I will write a function. What was that function name? Delete to do, right? Delete to do. This is a function, arrow function. See, this is a normal function. So previously you were writing functions like this, right? But here there is a small change. Now you are passing some parameters like this particular id. So for this you just write here, here you just write id here. Done. Then inside of this function I will write one variable. For this variable I want to store the details of the doc. You need to import this from Firebase Firestore. Is that imported? Doc, yes. Then your database, this also done. Then your collection name, done. Then id, this id I am sending from here, done. Then write lat doc, you need to import this, done. Then the previous variable where we were storing, done. So here if you have seen the previous video, I told you whenever we are fetching or whenever doing operations from using some external sources or the internet, we have to write async and await, right? Async. Here also for this function await. Done. Also fetch to do's, done. Before writing this I will try to write one alert to do deleted. Save this. Now go back, so refresh. Yeah, I got my record. Now I'll try to delete this. I'll click on this. See, you can see a pop-up here. You might get a pop-up here. For my browser I will get here. I can either click OK or cancel. It's my way. See here, the record is deleted. Previously when I was writing, I can only fetch the to-dos, I can write the to-dos, but I was not able to delete or edit them. I'll write one more. Here I will try to delete this. Done. See, this is gone. So this was how to delete. Now we'll try to update this. See, when I click on this, I cannot see anything or I cannot update this. We'll try to implement this feature. Now we'll see how to update a to-do. See, similar to the previous delete, we are providing an ID along with that some other data. For now you forget it, just remember in one variable we are storing the reference, like for this particular record in this database, this collection, for this ID, look for this ID. Then update doc, this method is used to update the records in the database. Update doc, then we are providing the previous reference of that ID. Along with that we are sending some data. If you remember, previously we were sending we were adding data to our database like field and value. Similar to that, to update also we need to provide the collection name, then what we want to update along with the field and the data. Then we are fetching the to-dos, like after deleting also we are fetching the data, so to get the new copy of the database. Here also after updating we are trying to get the new details. We'll try to implement this. See, this is a edit button. So on this I will write a on press, but there is a small change here. Unlike delete or adding or fetching, here we are updating our records. So to update also we need some particular text over the text box over there. See, when we are updating any fields like username or bio data in our Instagram page also, there will be one small text input where we have to edit our details. Similar to that, if you want to update, we need to provide the particular ID along with the data, right? For that, here I will be writing a function to get the ID and also the text. These details I will be sending to some other text input where the user can change the details from there. So how to implement that functionality, we will see that now. For this, write a arrow function. Arrow function. In this arrow function, we'll be having a two states. One state, I'll write that states here. Const edit track. See, one state we'll be using for to update. We need ID, along with that some data which we want to update here. To send that, first we need to have one state which can track our IDs. State to track IDs. Then one more state to track the changes. See, what is this here? IDs. Whenever we click on a particular button or particular to-do list, we'll track that ID using this state. When after this, we'll send our details to some other function like, see, here I will write one more function like, here I will write update to do. Previously, to delete any data, upon that to do we were writing update delete to do, right? Directly we are sending the function, but here first we are tracking the IDs, then we are tracking first we are tracking this and also the changes, then sending these details to some other function. See, this is my function. So for this function I will write all the changes. Here I will check whether I am getting the details or not. Here I will send the ID and also here the changes. If I have a text input here, text input box here, I will be writing some text, right? To track this text, I am writing this state over here. Basically we are doing here is, for previously if you want to delete, directly we are sending ID, but here to update we need to send the ID and along with that the data which you want to update. So to do that, we are tracking two things. One is we are tracking the IDs, then we are tracking the state changes, like if a user is entering something. See, first state is to track the IDs, then one more state is to track the changes in other text box. If I have a text box, see, after clicking on this I will show him one text box. When the user types something here, to track these changes I wrote another state here. We'll write one is for tracking IDs, edit or track IDs, or you can write track edit, it's your wish. Then a state to track the IDs. See, we are tracking IDs, so we won't be keeping this as an array or true or false. We'll keep this null. Done. See, one more state to track the changes. So I will write edit text, set this will be empty. Done guys. See, one is to track the IDs, one is to track the text. We'll implement that here. Inside of this set, if you want to manipulate something, we need to use the second variable, right? I will write set track edit. I'm trying to manipulate, right? So I will be using track set track edit. Here I will be sending the ID. The IDs, right? I will write item.id. Now where am I getting this IDs? So if you have seen this flat list, to render any text or to render any details, you are using item.todo, item.id, item.completed. Similar to that, to have the track of this, we are using item.id. Then one more variable is to track the edit, right? Like changes in the text. Let's set edit text. For this I will write item.todo because I want to track the text, right, which is I am getting from the Firebase. Item.todo. Then if I try to console log them, track edit text, save this, clear this. See a previous the when I'm tracking the IDs, it was null. If I click on this, see you are getting ID of this along with the text. See if I click on this, I'm getting a different ID and different text. I'm getting this text, and where am I getting this ID? I am getting that ID from Firebase, which is unique. Some alphabets here which is unique. Then using that ID and this text, I will try to update. So to do that, here we are tracking our IDs, right? Using that IDs, I will try to show him a different text box. So how to do that? See, if you have seen the previous video of flat list, you will know that flat list and ternary operators. Here I will write track edit if it is equals to item.id. What is the meaning of this is, see, when the user is clicking on that, he is getting some ID. If that ID is similar to that particular box, a particular to do, then show him this component in this. First I will write the syntax, see, which means that ID is similar to the ID I am getting from the Firebase for that particular box. Then if that is true, show him some logic over there, some UI over there. If that is false, show him some other UI. So how to do that? In between of these, see, this is true condition, right? Here I will write one text box. In between this view, I will write one text input, one button. I will style this quickly. This is done. If it is true, I want to show him one text box and a button. If that is false, like if that is not the entered, if that is not the same button which the user has clicked, then show him this logic. So next I will remove this from here, paste this here. But for this, because I need to return a single component, one view, closing में one view, save this. I will go back. See, here already it is showing me. See guys, these are my to-dos. If I click on this edit button, can you see one text box and also a button? For remaining it is showing different, but for this, for the to-do which I clicked edit, it is showing a text box along with the button, because I wrote the logic like if it is a particular button which the user has clicked, show him this UI. If it is not, then show him other UI. So when I say it is not doing any functionality because I did not write. Then here for this, to show the text over there, I'll show value. So what type of text I have to show here? Previously we were tracking the text, right? Edit text wala. Then also to track the changes here on change text, set edit text. This is also done. Here for the button, if the user clicks on this, like press on this, on press, one function which tells us to update to do. Along with this we need to send one ID, update to do an ID. So I need to write this function. Come here, I don't need this anymore. After delete I will write. Oh sorry, update to do. This is a function. So for this function I am sending one ID. Here I will write one variable name, const, what will be this, to do ref, like a reference variable something, doc imported, then the database collection, then ID I'm sending this, comma, then here to update doc we need to import this. Then first I need to send the reference to do ref, then an object to make the changes. To do ko I will send the new text which I was tracking previously. How was I tracking? Using this state. This is also done. After this I will try to fetch. This will be await. This is async. Save. Sorry guys, just write, instead of just writing update to do, here write item.id. We are sending these ID, right? Save this, go back, and also value spelling. See now this is working. Refresh. Now check this. See, you can see a text input field and also a button. Try to write some more. Save this. See, even after saving there is a small issue, but I will show you by refreshing. See, the data is updated, but previously the issue was, see here, when I do this and click save, this is getting saved but this button is not disappearing. So to do that, after updating, where is it, update, see, After update, here I will just write track id. I'll make that null. Save this. Track edit. Oh sorry, I need to write set. Sorry. Set track edit. Using first variable we can't update, that was my error. Using second variable I need to update. See, this is solved. For this let's try. See guys, the issue is solved. So this was how you update and delete to-dos from your application. So not only to-dos, if you want to send other text, like if you have some other application, even if you want to send those details, the functionalities in the method is similar guys. The only thing that might be different is how you want the text to be taken. Again, see here I am taking the text in the same place, but instead of this you can show him inside of alert box or a model. I have one code, I will do that. Save this. This UI is not good. Okay, can you see this? I am showing him one some other pop-up where I am showing him his text, save and a cancel button. If I update, see this works. If I click on delete, it's working. So to do that I have used some other method called model. You can refer that using React Native official website. I will show you how the code looks. See, this is little, writing this model is little complex. You might get confused, so I did not show you how to do that here. See, just I am importing a model. I need to import this guys. Then this is animation, just it's your wish, transparent. Then to show this model, to hide this model, for this also I need a state. And see here, to show I'm using one state, to close I'm using the other state, like to show first variable, to hide the second variable. Then the other code, like here I'm using simple one text box and two buttons. In one button I'm rendering one update function. In this button again, for the close I'm telling the model to close, like the pop-up, it is called model. See here also same, but when I'm trying to update, right, instead of sending directly that text and IDs, here I need to first open that model. For that model I need to send those IDs. From those IDs I need to access that, and I need to write the functionality. See here, first when I open I need to track those all things, then again update. So this is little complex. When you are able to understand how to update and how to delete, you try this thing. I will try to add this into the documentation. You can try this, and also the previous code, this one, this, even this I will add there. So this was about complete Firebase backend. And backend is simple guys. Here just you have to remember the logic and how you want to use that. The front end is little bit, you need to understand each and everything, like how flat list works, how text box you have to render, how to design everything. But in backend there is no thing about designing. Designing is a part of front end. When you want to write core logic, it's backend. See here backend, just you have four functionalities guys. CRUD, you want to create, take a text input, you need to take from the user, and to read that you need a directly you need to write a function like to fetch. To show you are using front end ka flat list. To update again you need to have those IDs. For that you need to write the logic, directly you are writing the logic. And to delete also directly using that ID you are deleting. Again you are fetching using that previous function which you wrote. again and again you are not writing that function. Once you wrote, you are trying to fetch that using that function again and again. These four functionalities are simple, but it depends on how you are using, like along with what methods you are using, what UI design you are doing. This was everything about Firebase CRUD operation, guys. I will try to make one other project like how to send images to the database. Sending images to the database is a little complex, and also we can't store the images directly in our databases, guys. So I will make separate video on that. I'll try to make a one social media application. In that I will show how to use some other external libraries. There we will send our images. They will give us some image URLs. Using that URL we will try to upload into our database. Thank you.